Okay, so we're going wild hair and shirtless for this one. I was just thinking about this shit and was just talking in my room to myself for like 5 minutes. So I just said, fuck it, let's turn on the camera and talk to myself. Sorry if that light's very annoying. Um, I was just literally thinking to myself about how, like, the world is really not fair. And a lot of people want the world to treat them fair. And it's not gonna happen, gang. Like, it's just not gonna happen, bro. Who gives a fuck? Like, if you're expecting someone like this, a lot of this has to do with the fact that I was just thinking about like politics and shit, right? I'm not gonna get like super political or anything, but I am just gonna say a couple things. Um, like for example, I live in California, so I've mainly grown up obviously as more of like the left leaning liberal side of things, right? Um, and I would say as time has gone on, like my opinion on things have shifted more like center-ish, I would say, but I still feel like I lean more towards like the left. Sorry, this is my left. So this is your right, or I mean, you know what I mean. Uh, and the camera is still left. Um, and I was just thinking about like as time and time has gone on, I think that like speaking to people who are more left leaning or like liberals kind of make me want to pull my fucking hairs out sometimes because of the fact that like I think a lot of their ideology stem from the fact that the world is supposed to treat them fair. And for literally almost any person of almost any race, of almost any background, you already know from the get-go that the world is just not fair. And expecting to mold everyone into some sort of way or some way to act or some way for them to behave when they probably also got a million and one things going on at home, or they're just genuinely fucked up in the head, or they're probably like actually retarded, like they can't even comprehend what their thought patterns. And you're expecting them to treat you some sort of way. It just doesn't make any sense. And and like, that's what I'm saying. Or I'd say I don't live in that world of delusion, right? Where I expect the world to treat me fair because guess what? Look at the way I look, right? I'm a light skinned nigga, right? Like I'm gonna have the big afro hair. I'm gonna look some sort of way, and you're gonna immediately a lot of not you in particular, but a lot of people are going to look at someone like myself, you or I, right, and have a preconceived notion in their head. So they're going to immediately, for the most part, probably assume just because I am a nigga that I listen to a certain type of music or are into a certain type of sport or into a certain type of thing to do on a recurring basis. Or they probably think I listen to a certain type of music. I think I already said that or not. I don't know. But you would never take one look at me and assume that I love listening to rock. I love listening to rock, especially after the last 2 or 3 years. Ever since I got into it, it's been one of my favorite things in the world. I love listening to rock, and I mainly fuck with more of like the emo shit. This is also another random side tangent, but I fuck with the emo shit like a lot. Like I fuck with the Linkin Parks. I fuck with the My Chemical Romance, especially heavy on the My Chemical Romance. I also fuck with Rob Zombie, if you guys know who that is. Yes, it's that guy who makes the movies. He makes decent music too. Um, Avenged Sevenfold, fucking I don't know. Just you name it, I'm trying to listen to it. I'm trying to get into it for real. If anyone knows any good rock artists, send them my way. I will listen to them. Um, but the preconceived, like I said, people are going to immediately have preconceived notions in their head, whether it's, like I say, I don't necessarily blame them because it's not necessarily their fault either. um just because, like I said, the way that we've all grown up, it's, you're going to assume, you're going to try and mold people into a certain box, right? And like I said, it's not on some like low-key racist shit, even though it kind of is a little racist. It's not that racist, right? Because it's more so a stereotype. That's what I'm talking about, right? Stereotypes are, although, like I said, although they're kind of racist, I'm more of the belief that stereotypes are rooted in truth, where certain things have happened and it's a certain type of people or certain type of person that are in inhabiting those sort of stereotypes, which is why a lot of people have those preconceived notions in their head that they probably think that Lil Baby's my favorite artist or some shit. You know what I mean? Um, and so that was just a long-winded discussion or tangent to say that like a lot of the people on the left-leaning side, they tend to assume that the world is going to treat them fair. Sorry, I'm really trying to hold this phone more smooth so I like don't sound like or look like I'm wobbling the screen so much, but or give you fucking motion sickness or anything. But basically, what I'm just saying is right. Like the world is never going to treat you fair. No matter how old you get, no matter how good you look, no matter how, see, maybe with how much more, how better you look. Because honestly, if you get more attractive, the world's going to be more in your favor. Um, but I mean, again, looks aren't everything, so don't be an asshole. Sorry, I live right next to an airport. You're going to hear planes flying. Just fucking deal with it. Um, but yeah, like the world is not going to treat you any sort of different, like especially if you think you're going to mold people into doing something that they genuinely don't believe in. Like some people don't believe in sharing a water fountain with a black person, like, you know what I mean? Like that's what it was like 70 years ago, you know what I mean? That's how that shit genuinely was. So and that shit carries on to different generations until it finally, you know, fizzles out, like, you know what I mean? So it's weird because I don't really hate like liberals or anything. That's not what this video is about. It's just like one of those things I'm thinking about where it's like, um, it's just a fallacy to think that it's a bad like way of thinking to think that the world will treat you fair, and it's essentially setting yourself up for failure. Like the world is not fair, so you need to learn to play into that fact that the world is not fair. Like if you obviously do more than the average person, there's a good chance that you're increasing your luck to get the result or outcome that you want. Um, and versus someone who's just being a lazy bum and thinks that somehow, some way, the universe is going to give him what he wants out of life, right? Like he thinks that, oh, if he sits on his ass and plays League of Legends all day, he's gonna eventually fucking get the baddest bitch in the world or have the most jacked body in the world. Like it's just not gonna happen, gang. Like it's just not. Um, but if you have constant input with constant output, there's a good chance you're gonna have um there's obviously going to be a great fucking chance that you're going to get what you want out of life. That's just what the truth of the matter is. So it's just a matter of like don't set yourself up for failure and thinking that shit's just gonna come your way magically. I don't necessarily know who needs to hear that because I guarantee you that like if this video actually found you and you're actually watching this shit, there's a good chance you probably believe a little bit of what I'm saying. But my mind is a little scattered, and that's the whole point of these types of videos that I make, is that they're never supposed to be like solid, concrete thoughts. These are more so things that I'm just coming up with in the moment and just trying to get them out there and trying to stay a little bit on topic while trying to add my own little flair to things, if that makes sense. And also, too, another thing you're going to find out about me real quickly is that I cannot stand still in one spot and I like to pace around the room like a motherfucker. I know that tends to get people paranoid or like anxious, but that's just what I do and that's how my thoughts get formulated. So, and another thing you're going to find out about me real quickly is that I also like to go on side tangents like a motherfucker. It's probably why I would not be good at making YouTube videos, like genuinely. But, um, like I said before, just don't like, oh, I guess I should wrap up that point I was talking about. It's like, so as I grown up more and more, it's like, like those people, those types of people genuinely make me want to like rip my hairs out because it's like, it's just such, it's delusion. That's what it is. It's just genuine delusion. And, like I said, this is not to dog on like liberal people or left leaning people, because don't get me wrong, right people also have their own delusions. They think that like God is going to fucking be their almighty saving grace for all the shit that they've done in their life. That's a whole nother world of delusion. Like you can't just pray to Jesus that someone's gonna or something or someone is gonna come into your life and give you $1 million. You know what I mean? And I know how traditional right leaning people can be too. Like when they start getting all on their high horse about fucking what you call traditions and shit like that. Like obviously that's very delusional. It's like you can't just beat your wife for fucking 50 years and think that she's gonna stick around for that shit or not want to kill herself or some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Um, so it goes both ways. It's just either way, they both to a degree make me want to rip my hairs out. I fucking hate politics, but I know that in this day and age that we live in, it's almost impossible to ignore. So you gotta have to, you really do have to get somewhat involved in it, or at least know what the fuck is going on, because always was that person where it's like I like try to avoid it as much as possible until like it became inevitable and was fucking with my daily life, to the point, not like to the point where it's like I need to go march out on the streets or anything, but more so to the point where I just needed to acknowledge what the hell is going on and realize that, like, hey, shit is going crazy, shit is going south. I could probably make a play off this shit and maybe start some sort of business or something that's going to be in my favor. I don't know what it is or how I'm going to do it, but I need to figure out how the fuck to do it so that I can at least capitalize off this shit and not be struggling and suffering about the fucking big six. We hit the big six over here in California. Um, them gas prices are looking a little fucking ridiculous. Um, what's it called? Could you imagine paying $6 for gas? That shit is ridiculous, gang. Um, but yeah, sorry, again, getting super off topic. But like I said, like shit like that though. The world being fucked up right now as it is, like that. Even that could be seen as really unfair. Maybe that's not completely off topic. Getting to the big six in gas prices, I would have never thought, never, in my entire life, thought that I would be paying $6 per gallon. Yet here the fuck we are. Guess what? Tough shit. That's not fair. But maybe we can try and change shit in a couple of years. I don't know. I know I can't. I can't run for president. You know what I mean? I'm fucking 21 years old. You know what I mean? Uh, but what I do know is that like I need to figure out some sort of way to make a play so that I'm not even remotely suffering in this crazy ass economy. Um, Man, I really wasn't trying to get super political. That's always what fucking happens. But it's not like I feel like a lot of this shit is just real shit. It's not even like politics at the end of the day. It's just using your mind trying to think. Like, what are you trying to do to try and get yourself out of the situation that you're in? And it's like, look at your daily habits, right? Like, are you doing what's gonna make the outcomes that are the positive outcomes that you're trying to reach? Like, is it happening for you? For me right now, I can't even look at myself and ask myself that question with a straight answer and say yes. I genuinely, sorry, don't know where that came from. I genuinely can't. Like, I cannot say yes. I can't say, are the outcomes that you're doing and day in, day out, reaching you towards the goals that you want to get to or the place that you want to be? I'd have to look at myself in the mirror and say, no, I'm not there. It's weird to say that. I feel like I can admit that more easily because I'm on the camera and just talking to someone else that's not myself. But again, I need to find out some way because it's only going to get worse and your luck is only going to run out. Luck is only going to run out with the more and more time passes. You know what I mean? So I say this as a sign to mainly just like, kind of lock in on what it is that you want out of life because it's not going to treat you fair. And you can do this shit for years and years on end and still not get where you want to be. But it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take more than just you expecting everything to fall into place for you. And again, I like to make these videos as more so messages to myself more than anybody. But because like I said, a lot of this is very hypocritical for me to say on the camera because it's like I need to take my own advice. You know what I mean? I can't just like sit here and preach on the camera and be like, oh, I'm living the life. I'm not living the fucking life. You know what I mean? I'm not living the fucking life I want to be at. But I know that I'm going to start actively taking steps to kind of get there. You know what I mean? I got to stop saying that. That's a filler word. You know what I mean? That's such a filler word. Um, because I just said that shit like 3 or 4 times. But I know that I'm gonna start looking at life and trying to be like, okay, maybe I do need to lock in some areas, and I gotta look at this shit as like, I might have to try a little harder than some other people, or hell, I might have to try a little less harder than some other people. Either way, I know that it's not gonna be very fair. Either way, because if you're expecting some sort of windfall to happen, it's just not unless you get like a lottery ticket or some shit. You got to make your windfall. For a lot of people, 90% of people, you got to make your damn windfall. So how are you going to do it? Literally, that's it. Because the world ain't going to treat you fair. It's not going to land on your lap. How are you going to do it, guys? How the fuck are you going to do it?